Jungle.
Welcome you all to yet another one more session of Ace Up Your Career. Well, and every week we have been talking about careers. As we all know, this is very important and very crucial for life. Talking about career, thinking about it, how to go further, and what all areas that we should be really exploring on day in and day out, and how we can just enhance our career to move further, to make our profile and professional life much more, not exactly to go in very high colors, but still it is very, very important. Coming to the subject of career counseling, it's a process in which an expert help you with career exploration, career change, and personal career development, and if any other career related issues which are there. This is a process actually in which you get advice with counseling techniques, simplifying complex decisions or difficult situations into an accessible one such that the person is much more comfortable in doing it. So in this, we have been seeing for 6 weeks exactly how to go about it, what is a career, and for having a career for yourself, what is very, very important. Your profile is very, very important. Your candidate building is very, very important. And how to build that kind of a career, candidature, and how to go about it. And it all stems, if we think that normally in a global scenario, exclusively about Indian scenario, what people think is, they think that only after grade 12, I'm going to think about my career. Whereas it's not so. It is definitely not so. It starts from very, very, very early stage, where you're going to map your interests, basically, and then like what are your interests, and then if at all to achieve that interest, your dream, so-called dream, they call it as dream. So to achieve that dream, what all skills you should cultivate, and with that skills, how you can map it with your academic progression, and with that academic progression, how can we go about and sculpt your own career. So for this, we have seen that how brain mapping or knowing about the aptitude of the student or a child is getting accessed, and looking at the comfort level and the natural inclination towards different subjects or areas of interest where the child has been exposed in the previous years, and where the exposure has directed or mapped to or pathway to very exclusivity or a very specialization. From there it starts. Exactly. So this brain mapping method of career counseling is the most effective tool due to 3 reasons, basically. And if you ask me, like, what are the 3 reasons? Since the process of personal interaction is based upon each and every response of the child is being documented and guided with the recommendations, and so every single conversation is so enhanced with a purpose. So there is a purpose of thought and there's a purpose of action. So deep probing into an analysis of exactly how the child feels, what are the interests of the child. If at all this doesn't work, what would be done with metacognition? What would be done as a plan B? So those things are being worked with. And not every try is going to be a success. So basically what happens, so we have to develop attitude of resilience in us so that we go with it and we don't give up. And finally, we reach exactly where we are supposed to reach. So if we at all we need to reach there, we are seeing multiple career options in this course, basically, for medical study, for engineering study, for finance, and also like when it comes to engineering, medical, it is paramedical, it is rehabilitation. There's so many things that we have seen. Apart from that, even for engineering, we are seeing exactly of different fields of engineering, civil engineering, electronic engineering, mechanical engineering, aeronautic engineering, then chemical engineering, so many things that we have seen. So with all these things, 3 different fields which remain as an open area. It is applying for government jobs and R&Ds, basically research and development, and also into the government options of IAS, IPS, etc. So with these things, definitely we will be able to make up our own career. So what is the process involved? Discover your interests, access your aptitude, develop, explore your skills, equip yourself with those skills, evaluate your performance, value yourself, and reach the job market. Don't reach the job market after when you are ready. When you are with the academic progression only, you need to research job market and explore your possibilities of getting there. Integrate your personality with the environment in the sense like where you are going to, with the geographical location, etc., and the nature of the work with the work-life balance, etc. All these things, if we do as a process of self-evolution, definitely it will be integrated and oriented with our career prospects. So, thank you so much. On that note, I welcome you all on behalf of IIU for yet another one more session that we are gathered here today. Today, we are going to talk about art career prospects and other specializations which are more connected to it. So, as we all know, we start our session always thanking IIU for giving us this wonderful platform of sharing our knowledge, our expertise, such that we are able to take it further. Allow me to share my screen. Yes. So, IIU has been a global education confederation which is prevalent in 195 countries and 6 continents, leading a virtual education system with the core mission of delivering innovative programs and quality training programs for young leaders and young learners globally. Founded by Mr. Piyush Pandit, a visionary founder, a passionate educationist, and a committed social activist, for the past 2 decades, they have been working on this in all the 195 countries, such that creating this platform accessible to each one of them who are willing to work with them. That's why it is called as the world's first international university, because it is available in 195 countries and it is all online. So anybody who wants to access it in any part of the globe at any time of the day, they are able to do it. They are able to conduct the session at their own willingness, at their own time zone, at their own availability. So definitely this platform is such a boon for all of us. So thereby goes the saying, inspiring, inviting, and igniting young minds. So many thanks to Mr. Piyush Pandit sir, who has created such a global platform for us to work with. So coming to today's topic of navigating the future with the blueprint of art and humanities. It is a comprehensive way of finding the guide for students post 12th grade to map their interests and specialized academic and career destinations for art and humanities field. So the philosophy of this purpose-driven education is Pillar 1, self-discovery. Pillar 2 is holistic education. Pillar 3 is careers in India. Self-discovery, identify your unique strengths, values, and passions before choosing the subject. And Pillar 2 is the holistic education, fostering life skills, emotional intelligence, and design thinking over rote learning. Careers, thereby we map it along with the careers in India more or less, uncovering the immense specialized potential within the India's rapidly growing economy. So what is our diagnostic blueprint say with the 4-quarter square method, the dynamic framework which aligns to the personal potential with the market realities? When you explore your interests, align passions with opportunities exactly, your interest with your opportunities exactly. Analyze interaction with the environment and the people, start working with the people. Extract intrinsic motivations from the hobbies that you do. So when it comes to the aptitude, which aptitude suits you better as a person? Map it along with that. If it is mathematical, logical, and technical problem solving, scientific, critical thinking and experimentation, social sciences, communication and cultural understanding, skill-based, practical and task-oriented. So which aptitude is yours? That you need to find it from brain mapping, and then you can just map it over here. All these should be done before choosing a subject of study. Number 3 is orientation with the academic, theoretical and structured, practical, hands-on, applied, people, collaborative and interpersonal focus, preconceived rigid mindset needs broadening. So we should be open with all these orientation, thereby mapping it with the personality as well, whether you're a low academic, low practical person, or low academic, highly practical person, high academic, low practical person, or high academic and high practical person. Wherever you are, you fit. Once you have this 4-quarter square method done, and you have your mapping very clearly, then you can do it. You can choose your subjects. Now, today's topic, we are talking about, are we wired for art and humanities? So, if that's the thing, exactly what kind of profile suits you? Success in these fields requires a specific cognitive and social profile. It's a unique mixture of people, academic and people orientation, high inclination towards social sciences and languages, comfortable and energized in dealing with people, ability to read extensively and communicate exceptionally well, highly skilled at arguing and debating complex concepts, and adept at research, analysis, presentation, observation. If your personality suits you, or if you find yourself in these web of characteristics, then definitely art and humanities are your subjects. So defining the domains, expression needs analysis, definitely. So the art, the word art itself is self-explanatory, it's a creative expression of human imagination. So it creates ideas through visuals, photography, painting, sculpture, music, dance, performance, stories, sound and movement, storytelling, literature, poetry, fiction. So if your basic instincts and interest lies in these, then you develop the synthesis. But these processes get deeply interconnected. Studying art provides insights into humanities, shaping our understanding, fostering empathy, communicating across different cultures. So map it along with that, thereby you finally have your humanities and analysis of the human experience with studies of culture, history, language, philosophy, society to critical thinking, logic, and research. So with the academic progression timeline, it starts from 3 to 4 years of undergraduate, basically. All these, the basic eligibility, we are talking from 10 plus 2 any stream, because this is a scenario that's prevalent now in India. So taking it from there, it starts from undergraduate or BA, BA honors, BSW, BRS, etc., 3 to 4 years. With the integrated masters of 5 years, that is, eligibility is again 10 plus 2 any stream. You can directly take integrated masters of 5 years. Or otherwise, masters after the undergraduate is 2 years extension with MA, MSW, MRS. So the eligibility is bachelor's degree, where you take it from the undergraduate. Finally, it is with the doctoral, that PhD, that's for 3 years extension or even more than that. So this is the academic progression timeline, which you should be prepared for when you take art and humanities as your field of study. So when it comes to that, there are certain constellations which definitely work with these fields. So that's what we are going to take them as. These are otherwise called as specializations. What are you specialized at? So specialization constellation, understanding the human heritage. When it comes to the ancient history, you will be exploring, you will be prepared to explore civilization, political structures, economic life up, etc. Then ancient religions, art and architecture, then epigraphy, etc., etc., etc. Then about one particular country when it comes to the world, like say, for example, the idea of Bharat, connecting it to the modern world. So researching arguments, exploring how our present is connected with the past and how is it taking forward with the future, with the Asian resurgence and environmental issues, etc., etc., etc. So with the anthropology, the scientific study of human biological evolution and cultural diversity, this is another field that is related to that. Cultural studies, applied anthropology, you can study about religion and ethnography. So this is one first specialization that you can think about when you're choosing art and humanities as your study. So the second constellation is about the system, space structures, space structures, etc. So the basic field of study will be business economics, that is applying economic principles and market trends to business management, macroeconomics, applied econometrics, and environmental economics and financial markets. This we have seen exactly when we are talking about the financial aspects as well, financial careers as well. Now, along with that, there is business economics with the specialization as financial systems, computational techniques, marketing management, and legal aspects of business, etc. This comes under business economics as well. And there's one more field which is associated with that, study of geography with the spatial distribution of the physical phenomenon, the human environmental interactions with the disaster management, climatology, and geomorphology, etc., etc. So this is another specialization which is associated with the art and humanities. And coming to the other specialization, the third discipline is that language, media, and expression. So you can take English literature as your main course of study, where language, structure, sounds, and sort of societal context, where you'll be actually more interested with Indian classical, women writing, post-colonial literature, poetry, drama, etc., etc. When it related to the further study, it can be on linguistics, the study of language, structure, sounds, and societal context with semiotics and psycholinguistics with lexicography and phonology, etc. So then again, it branches up to one more stream for further study, for further specialization, that is multimedia and mass communication, integration of text, audio, and video to shape up the public option and culture with graphic designing, public service broadcasting, global politics, and television journalism, etc. So there's one more, the last constellation that is always prevalent, as you know, the global and security landscape with the international relations, with the dynamics of global politics, diplomacy, security, and international law, with gender and IR, with global politics, international security, global political thought, etc. And with developmental studies of interdisciplinary approach to fostering sustainable development and human security, then governing ecosystem, gender development, urbanization, globalization, and change definitely comes into vogue. And then finally, when it has another specialization which is intersected, that is defense and national security, with the national defense strategies and military affairs and intelligence, with cybersecurity, geopolitics, maritime security, and military psychology. So that's how it is. And there is a very lighter side of it as well. The career cluster, as we have talked about, the storytellers and communicators also comes into the art and humanities stream. You can become an anchor, journalist, reporter, copywriter, radio jockey, or screenwriter as well. So in specialization in that area, there can be another domain which is associated with that is analysis and decoders. You can become an economist, and political scientist, skeptologist, sociologist, and behavior analysis. And definitely in with the focus or our prime core on human heritage, we can become an archaeologist, curator, historian, philologist, and restorers, etc., etc., etc. Where this field is very related to the culture, connecting it from the past, present, and the future. Where the subfield of anthropology is focused on excavating artifact structures to reconstruct the past human cultures. Curator keeps the cultural heritage institutional specialization in meticulous collection and interpretation of materials. Historians help to analyze the primary, secondary sources to interpret past events and their enduring societal impact. Restorers help preservationists specializing in historic buildings and monuments to prevent the deterioration, maintain the architectural legacy. The philologist specialists analyze the history and evolution of languages, focusing on ancient texts and their relationship with the culture. So, definitely, this is another discipline of study. If your focus, if your interest lies here, you can choose it up. And last but not the least, there are always one field which is always open to each and every single discipline. That is advocates and institutional pathways. You can become a social worker, victimologist, and psychologist. With overarching the pathways with armed forces, entry into CDS and INAT with the regular short service commissioned officers, civil service, entry into prestigious governance roles, including IAS, IPF, IFS, IRS, etc. And also with the corporate and banking with a heavy leverage of roles in risk management, investment banking, operations, and corporate strategy. So with that, we have just got an overview of exactly what all fields that art and humanities take us into. So when it comes to the career design in design and fine arts, the comprehensive roadmap for education with self-discovery, professional opportunities in India. So defining the landscape that design with fine arts. Exactly design, how is it, what is the core purpose of design? If you see, it optimizes the interaction between the person and the environment, where you are able to express yourself. Then both the sides, design, if it is a design, and fine arts, both are more kind of an expression-based study, where design is with your creativity, where it comes on paper, it comes on depiction, where optimize the interaction between the person and the environment. and strive to do more with less, maximizing the economy of the materials and engineering involved in it, and analyzing the problem holistically from the vantage point to the end user, and the yields, user interfaces, transportation, clothing, and the systems, etc. With the fine arts, which focus on artists' international expression and emotional stimulation, prioritizes the aesthetical value over the functional purpose, and experiments with the materials to evoke the thought of controversy without constraints of utility, thereby yielding paintings, sculptures, and conceptual pieces. If you feel that your basic interest lies here, and also you are more inclined to know more about these things, then you can choose up this study. So, if it is so, if your DNA is lying here exactly with the art and humanities, basically with the arts. So, what is the thing? If you're with the creative and artistic zone, it has got 3 different zones to be worked with. That is, as a creative professional. That is creative and artistic zone, where creativity and imagination takes a major role. Strong and visualization observational skills plays a major part. Artistic and aesthetic skills are being involved. Affinity towards art and drawing, and understanding the art history and culture. So these are the skills, or these are the nature, these are the basic instincts that one should have if you're pursuing your career towards art. With the executional interpersonal zone, you should have a very strong practical orientation, technical skills with the time management, organizational and interpersonal skills. Finally, with the cognitive and analytical zone, with open-mindedness and adaptability to take the reviews from others, to make amendments and to move further, analytical and communication skills, and with the problem-solving skills. So if this is the actual DNA of a person who is willing or who is really inclined towards taking art as the career. So with the self-discovery engine, your interest lies here, that we have seen the 4 quarter square of interest, aptitude, orientation, personality, and the educational infrastructure of, basically it starts from the 10th grade, 10th or the 12th grade, any stream, that's a foundation. So the branch line certifications are also there, with 1 year, 2 year certificates and diplomas available for 10th, post to 12th. With the undergraduate, 3 to 4 years, that is the bachelor's degree. And the postgraduate is 2 years, basically, excellence of 2 years, and the research level is PhD. So this is the basic educational infrastructure timeline that you should be ready for. So what are the 4 undergraduate pathways that is required? Basically, it comes under the different disciplines of Bachelor of Design, that is BDS, duration is 4 years, general eligibility is 10 plus 2 any stream, Bachelor of Fine Arts, that is BFA, and BA, that is Bachelor of Visual Arts, 4 years, 10 plus 2 any stream. Bachelor of Interior Design, BID, 4 years, 10 plus 2 any stream. Few colleges requires maths as well. Bachelor of Arts, that is BA Honors, 3 to 4 years, or 10 plus 2 any stream, the basic eligibility. BSc, Bachelor of Science, 3 to 4 years, 10 plus 2 any stream. Few colleges require maths as well. Bachelor of Fashion Technology, BFTech, that is 4 years, 10 plus 2 any stream. It is chemistry and maths. So with a career resource system of digital, virtual, and technical, if you're combining with the digital and virtual tech, then you can become a 3D animator, 3D modeler, then game designer and developer, with UI, UX designer, multimedia and digital artist as well. So the career ecosystem then evolves as with the fashion, apparel, and accessories. As a fashion apparel designer, fashion technologists, fashion stylists and directors, specialized designers, fashion stylists and portraitors. So this is the designer's blueprint that you're going to carry further. So with the career ecosystem built for environmental and industrial aspects as well, you can become an urban designer, facial, that is relating to the civil engineering or civil study, urban designer, facial interior designer, industrial designer, automobile designer, furniture exhibition designer, then spatial interior designer, etc. So these could be done with the environmental industrial study as well. With communication, media, and fine arts as your main course of study, with 2D and still arts, you can become fine artist and sculptors, communication graphic designer, photographer, and concept artist. With the time-based visionary art, you can become art and creative directors, film and video editor as well. So, our spotlight is inside the specialization, area of specialization, what we actually study, So look at the accessory design basically. You will be studying about the materials, crafts, fabrics, materials, craft development, footwear design, pattern making, etc. With the industry, business will be with the industrial production, accessories, merchandising, marketing strategies, etc. And the foundation, history of accessories, visual communication, etc. The output is the portfolio development. So beyond the studio, what your creativity can go up to the government and institutional pathways. You can work in Indian Armed Force, where the opportunities for the graduates via CDS, UPSC, AFCAT, that is Air Force, with the Indian Navy, Coast Guard entry schemes, etc. With the Indian Civil Service pathways into prestigious IAS, IPS, IFS, as well as 16 Group 3 services like IFS, IRS, with the government organizations opening for design candidates in nationalized banks, railways, defense via SSC, TSC, and UPSC examinations. With the academia, definitely through the providing training and research support, and in universities, specialized fields and design arts, design and fine arts, etc. So moving ahead, now we are moving ahead to, with this we have come to the end of art being our main field of study, art being the main field of study. Now we are moving ahead with the liberal studies in India, career guide navigating the liberal studies of India, like the BBA, BCom, BSc, and etc. So what do we need? Basically, as you all know, I think you may be even thorough with that, the self-discovery, where identifying your unique strengths, values, passions, rather than blindly following the trends. If you do that, you can really address the problem statement of not changing your majors after joining your course. Because when you join a course, what happens in due course of time, if that doesn't suit your instincts, that doesn't suit your interest, if you don't like it, you tend to change your majors. So if you do this analysis much before choosing your subject of study, before pursuing your career in that field, this will really help you to know exactly your self-discovery. After knowing the self-discovery, identifying your strengths, weaknesses, and the values and shortcomings, etc., where you can map it with equipping with life skills, emotional intelligence, critical listening, and design thinking, where you can still pursue the same career with all these skills that are being imbibed in you. But it takes you forward to uncovering the immense potential within the country, rapidly growing economy, combating the brain drain. So calibrating the student with the 4 quarters part method, which we have seen exactly your interest, your aptitudes, orientation, and personality, as it's a very innovative structured approach to career counseling that dynamically integrates the 4 dimensions of this human potential. It is very, very important. The second is the orientation with exactly your personality and aptitude with the diagnostic matrix, understanding how academic and practical learning intersect dictates the ideal career trajectory. So this you can do exactly with your curious explorative learners when driven by theory, research, understanding why complex system. If you are a foundation skill builder, it was external motivation, structure framework to build some competencies before specialization. And if you are inclined towards creative hands-on implementation with dynamic task-oriented environments, so learn the best by doing, by creating it. If you are a visionary leader in strategies, deeply theoretically is highly capable of executing the complex real-world applications. So mapping the liberal studies multiverse into our studies basically. With the humanities, it's a literature, philosophy, and history, language, arts. So it's going to be kind of a intellectual explorer kind. Then you can think about going into humanities, you can think about the social sciences, sociology, psychology, political science, economics, anthropology. With the natural sciences, definitely biology, chemistry, physics, environmental science also comes into that. Mathematics with the fundamental principles of logical and reasoning. Fine arts, music, theatre, visual arts, creative expression, etc. With the fine arts of musical theatre, visual arts, and creative exploration. So the liberal education is not just art. It allows the student to ask challenging questions to discover both the world as it is and the world as it ought to be. So you will be a bridge, you will be building the bridge when you take up this kind of a challenge. So the orbital model says that it's a 4-year degree works in India. The students are exposed to a mixture of subjects initially, later locking it with the primary subject specialization. Orbital by diverse minor subjects. So it could be with the data science, and the core major will be economics, where the minor will be history and the minor can be psychology as well. So basically start with 10 plus 2, and the years of 1 and 2 explorations explore the vast mix of subjects across the disciplines, and the years of 3 to 4 specializations selecting the primary major and secondary majors. So depending upon the chosen major, students can graduate with a specific honors, BCom, BBA, BA, BSc honors, etc. So what does the career constellation say? That the media and communication arts, basically for students with high social sciences, with the languages aptitude and the path behind creative expression with public management, screenwriter that we are seeing like content writer, copywriter, public relation manager, and radio jockey, anchor, journalist, reporter, all these things. So with the constellation of finance, analytical strategy, combining mathematical computing aptitude with deep critical thinking to dive into the business performance and managing risk, your portfolio could be of some investment banker who can be managing fund assets, implementation, investment strategies, and grow corporate financial assets. And also it could be something like financial market research analyst with the researchers macroeconomic trends to recommend actions in studies and market conditions. As an auditor, definitely you can make up your career with who validates the legality of the financial records and recommend risk aversion measures, etc. And with the business and budget analysis modifies IT business systems and sales organizations and control spending to meet the operational goals. So with the actuaries, the problem solvers who use maths and measure probability, risk, and financial impacts of the business event. So with this constellation, definitely the finance analytics and strategy, you will be able to make up your financial career as well. So the another domain of career constellation is that with leadership and operation people, where you'll be managing people basically with the human behavior to optimize organization, manage complex logistics and support humanities. As you will be working, you can work as you can make up your career as a human resources and talent manager, consults on strategic planning, state clients, career clients, and overseas organizational representatives. With the sociologists and social workers, studies about human organizational behavior advocates well-being of individuals and families as well. With the political scientists as your career, will be researching political ideas, analyzing government policies, systemic trends which are coming up, and such that you will become a big leader. A brand and retail manager definitely acts as a brand guardian to maintain integrity across marketing and supervise day-to-day operations. And there's one more discipline which is associated with that, the project and supply chain manager leads teams to execute plans within budgets, procures raw materials, and negotiates global vendor contracts, etc. So this is another field of study that you can think about when you take this as a career. So for all these fields of study, where does it start? Academic progression pathway says that it's a scalable journey from foundational undergraduate exploration to apex level doctoral research. So step 1 is the bachelor level, that is BA, BCom, BBA, BSc, all available as honors. But the basic requirement is 10 plus 2 stream. And step 2 is the master's level, MA, MCom, MSc, highly research intensive post-graduation. Step 3 is a doctoral level with PhD and DPhil. And step 4 is postdoctoral science. Doctoral science requires PhD completion. So if we are taking this as that, what is the ideal candidate profile? Basically, what does it demand? The actual DME, what does it demand? Being liberal studies demands a very highly specific blend of interpersonal fluidity, analytical rigor, and communication prowess. Basic thing is a balanced aptitude with strong integration of people, academic and practical aptitudes. With fluid interpersonal skills, highly comfortable dealing with vastly different kind of people and navigating diverse perspectives. With the persuasive articulation, a strong propensity of extra reading and writing paired with the ability to debate, argue, and accurately summarize the viewpoints. With the information mastery as one of the skills, the ability to research, analyze, aggressively organize, and clearly present complex information. Definitely last but not the least, the research and the science capability, a natural high aptitude for humanities, basic sciences, and deep disciplines. If your DNA falls here, definitely liberal studies is definitely one of the fields that you can think about. So if that's the field that you're thinking about, what's the gateway matrix with the critical examinations, that is entrance examination that it says. So the admission to the top programs requires navigating distinct university-specific scholastic and aptitude tests. So this goes like that: the entrance examination, university which is providing the test format, and the core subjects tested. You can always think about AAT, that is Ashoka Aptitude Test, which is conducted by Ashoka University, 120 minutes and essay or interview test format, and the core subject tested of problem solving and critical thinking with the case study questions. That is clear is another one, the plain entrance aptitude test with the plain university, that is online for 120 minutes. Basically, it is verbal, logical, and quantum GP. Then SET General, which is SSLA, conducted by Symbiosis, online for 60 minutes with general English, quant, and general awareness, analytical, and logical reasoning. Then NIMS, NMIMS, NPAT with Nasi Munji University with online for 100 minutes with quant, numerical, reasoning with English proficiency. Truett with Christ University and UPES with online 120 minutes with English, GK, current affairs, reasoning, and subject related. You can take up this in the examinations, definitely. With KREA with Andhra Pradesh, that is KREA University. It's a pen paper, that means it's on site. It's not online, for 75 minutes with logical, numerical reasoning, critical analysis, and essay with JSAT with Hindle School online for 120 minutes verbal, logical, and quantitative skills. So if you take up these entrance examinations, definitely you can make your pathway there. So what is the institutional landscape of these top universities provide as courses, basically? For the Indian education landscape, now features a world-class dedicated universities offering robust liberal art programs. It is Pandit Deen Dayal Energy University, TDU, Gujarat offers BA, BBA, BCom honors with integrated courses, what we have seen so far. Shivnada University in New Delhi gives BSc, BA Research. Plain University, Pune, with finally a 3 to 4 year interdisciplinary degrees. They make up the face, it's a whole like a tailor-made program, which is made according to your aptitude and interest, basically the areas of studies. India University, Chennai, advanced in the study in liberal arts. India School of Liberal Arts, Pune, offers BA, BA, BSc honors. Ashoka University, Sonipat, the premier liberal arts hub. Assam Premji University, Bangalore, also offers dual degrees in science and education. So, what does the take us to? The liberal studies blueprint from this site discovery to the career education. The complete pathway for intellectual explorer. First one, step one is assess the concepts. Use 4 focus star method with aptitude, interest, orientation, personality to find your true. Prepare. Step 2, prepare means the traits. Cultivate research abilities, debate skills, and highly comfort level with diverse people. Step 3, target the gateways. Select top-tier institutions which you have seen so far, which are Ashoka, Flame, Kriya, and Concourse specific entrance examination with AAT, FEAT, and SAT. Step 4, study the orbit. Engage in a 4-year multidisciplinary bachelor's blending dot exploration with rigorous major and minor focus. Succeed the horizon, deploying unique skills into high-impact plus career clusters, media, finance, leadership, strategy, etc., etc. Embark on the journey, asking challenging questions. Find out what really matters to you, exactly. So thus, navigating the liberative studies, the guide to the multidisciplinary exposure in different areas of study that we have seen so far. So now, we have finished liberal studies so far. Now we are moving into another field of study which comes under this area of art and humanities, basically the legal architecture, law being as a whole main area of study. So this, what we are going to see now is a strategic blueprint for careers in law after 12th degree. So it starts with redefining the profession in 2 areas of impact. One is the litigator, the other one is the consultant. So being a litigator, operating inside the courtroom, where you will be as a lawyer with specialized in litigating, arbitrating, and pleading the cause for another before a judge or a tribunal. The focus of area of work is civil, criminal, constitutional, family law. And so definitely the areas of specifications exactly go to the trial strategy and advocacy. Being a consultant, a law consultant, definitely operating outside the courtroom, working at law offices, corporations, government agencies, and advising executives, corporates on legal frameworks, preventing litigation and negotiating mergers, etc. Where your focus will be corporate, cyber, intellectual property, and contract law, etc., etc. And you'll be working with strategic partnership and advisory, risk mitigation and compliance, deal structuring and innovation with risk mitigation and invention. So, are you built for the law? From where do we find out? The 4-quarter diagnostic will be able to say this definitely. With aligning passion with subjects, specific subjects, environmental interactions, intrinsic motivations, evaluating logical reasoning, critical thinking, science, communication, practical task abilities, with the personality, mapping the role compatibility, basically with the curiosity, hands-on creativity, leadership potential. Orientation is analyzing approach to learning, the critical, hands-on, and collaborating with people. So your core qualities checklist: high people skills, good academic orientation, analytical and diagnostic skills, hands, work pressure, and socio-political interest. If your DNA lies here, then this is for you. So the career constellation starts here, where your core law will be your field of study, with basically which one we can take. The specialized niche is cyber IT arbitration, sports lawyer, immigration lawyer, family lawyer, techno-legal professional, or could be that with a specialized niche. And you can always work with corporate and business, being a corporate lawyer of complaints, contract lawyer, intellectual property lawyer, taxation lawyer, etc. With courts, definitely, disputes and courts, with advocate, litigator, civil or criminal, arbitrator, conciliator, judge, and judicial magistrate, etc. So your career constellation is basically this. So beyond the class courtroom, exactly, there are other parts which are also associated with this, with the allied government parts, that is cybercrime specialists, legal journalists, social activists, patent engineers. So you'll be working with the government and defense, with the ICS, that is Indian Civil Service, IPS and IFS, with armed forces, with public prosecutor, etc. Basically, with the academic being on the academic scenario, it could be a lecturer, professor, teaching the next generation of engineers and lawyers, etc. So, where does it start? Basically, the academic architecture progression map goes like this. It starts from the high school, 10 plus 2, any stream, basically BSc, BTech parts as well. Then, the bachelor level, the junction is Part A with 5-year integrated BA, LLB, BBA, LLB, etc. That's Part A. Part B is Standard 3 bachelor's, that is 3-year LLB is also available. Station 3 is a master level LLM and LLM PG diploma 1 year. That is also available. Then Station 4 is a doctorate and then doctorate of philosophy. Even that's always being mapped with that. And Doctor of Law, LLD, and postdoctoral as well. So the academic progression map architecture goes like this. So if this is your field of study, then what are things that will be integrated in that? The degree selection matrix for 5-year integration course is BA, LLB, ideal, basic is ideally a high school stream, any school, focus areas, humanities and policy. Sample course subjects will be political science, macroeconomics and sociology. BCom LLB, with commerce as the main course of study, finance and state being the focus area, corporate accounting, auditing, income tax, etc. being your sample course subjects. BBA LLB, with commerce and any stream, management, organizational behavior, marketing and HR. With BSc LLB, ideal high school science any stream, with art sciences and IP, biotech, genetics and forensic science being the core subjects or field of study. And the BTech LLB, that is 6 years course, science being the ideal high school stream is one. Yeah. The BTech LLB with the science and tech on cyber, with AI, cryptography and database management. With DFW LLB, any stream, any high school stream with the social justice and social entrepreneurship and welfare administration. So these are the different degree selection matrix that you can think about with 5 years integrated field of study. Then going into detail of the core foundational law, basically as law as a degree with a curriculum of monotheries, that is the clinical part of it with the practical application, that is examples of drafting, pleading, conveyancing, professional ethics with alternative dispute resolution, etc. as area, with the specialization of optional and seminar papers like space law, AI tech, merger and acquisition, sports law, health law, white collar crimes, etc., etc. Then it wraps up with the constitutional law, law of crimes, with IPC contracts, tort, property law, evidence, etc., etc. So if these are your areas of study, you can think about these areas of career. So what is the entrance examination ecosystem says? The zone one is the national heavyweights of consortium of NLUs, that is CNLAT and AINAT, that is NLU Delhi. These are the gateways to India's premier national institution. Zone 2 is premier private and deemed university, that is SLAT, Symbiosis, LNAT, that is Jindal and Jindal Global, CUET, Christ University, and ULSAT, UPUS. Zone 3 is for the state and regional powerhouses, definitely for the field of law. That is Maharashtra State offers MAH-CET, Bharatiya Vidyapeeth offers DWLA-WMG, and Army Law College, that offers KIIT and EIA solicitation. So if you take the entrance examination with these, definitely you'll be there. Now, when you do that, the common law admission test, that is CLA, what heavyweights that you are going to see, that is, it takes for 120 minutes, pen and paper, that means you need to be present there with the plus and 0.25 penalty, that is for the minus points, for the wrong answers. AILAT, that is All India Law Entrance Test, offers 120 minutes paper, pen and paper, that means you have to be there in person to give this test, that is with plus 1 and 0.25 penalty. So, what are the structural breakdown? Is English 24 points for CLAT, 24, logical reasoning 24, GK and current affairs 30, with quant techniques and logical reasoning is 30, and quant techniques is 12. Totally it makes up to 120. And if you're taking all India law entrance test, the structural breakdown goes like this. Structure is 150, verbal ability is 50, GK is 30, and logical and regional legal math combined for 70. So, this is how the total heavyweight scores. With the premier private university specific examination, Symbiosis offers a format online test for 60 minutes, no negative marking, 12 marks each with logical, legal, analytical general knowledge, which can be followed with WAT and TI. LNAT Jindal Global offers online tests, again 135 minutes in total. Section A with 42 MCQs on reading comprehension, 95 minutes. Section B is for essay writing on any of the three topics, that is for 40 minutes. Then Christ University, CUET format online, 90 minutes with no negative marking, that is with negative marking of 0.25. That is sections of English 30 questions, GK 30 questions, current affairs 15 questions, reasoning is 25 questions, and data analysis for 20 questions. So this is with the premier private university specific examination. Now coming to the government, what it has got to offer, the reasoning power also. From Maharashtra, it's NALL DCBT, 5-year course with format online 120 minutes, no negative marking, legal 40, GK CA 30, logical and analytical 40, English is 30, maths is 10. Then Bharatiya Vidyapeeth is online again with 120 minutes, basically for English, legal, analytical, GK and social sciences, which should be prepared for. IIT and EC, that's again online with 4 plus 4 minus 1 marking with 120 questions of math, analytical, logical, verbal, and GC. So specialized institution examinations with IIL LAT, that is Army Law College, Delhi, online test for 120, 200 questions, mental ability 50, GK 50, law aptitude 50, English 50, followed by an interview. Then Karnavati University, KUAT, online for 120 minutes, features a creative writing essay component with 20 marks alongside GK, verbal, and quant and logic also is there. Then MSU ET, that is MSV, University Baroda, the pen and paper 120, with 100 questions of English, GK, CA, legal, methodological, and ULSAT, that is UPEA Dehradun, online examination with 120 marks, balance 150 marks for balance with language 30, quantum 30, and logic 30, and legal GK 30, and legal aptitude 30. So with all these things, what you need to prepare for a universal prep strategy, that's a reading and comprehension with verbal ability, bedrock for all examination and law itself. So you should have a very good verbal ability and reading comprehension, logical and analytical reasoning with deduction and data analysis, general knowledge and current affairs definitely, heavy focus on current socio-political and legal news with the current data up to date with on your fingertips, legal aptitude, basic understanding of the constitutional frameworks and so on. So, despite the sheer variety of examination formats and time limits, 90% of your preparation lies on mastering these four universal pillars. Train for the skills, not just for the specific test. Basically, work on improving your reading comprehension, verbal ability, logical, analytical, and reasoning, which is analytical reasoning, legal aptitude, and general knowledge and current affairs. So, if you're ready for this, the day you're ready for it, you're ready for it. So, execute the blueprints with your next step. Step 1, self-audit yourself with the 4 quarters 5 method to honestly assess your aptitude, orientation for law. Step 2, streamline alignment, match your current 12th grade stream to the optimal 5-year integrated degree with BA, BTech, BCom, etc. Step 3, target selection, identify the 3 to 5 institutions of whatever premium, private, and state and IIU. And step 4, the pillar preparation, begin intense preparation, focus on the 4 universal skills of reading, logical, legal aptitude, and GK. So that's what map your career towards your profession. So there we are. We are getting the legal career in India. They're basically starting with the 4 product trials, road mapping with the qualification degrees and examination, with diverse career options, with the premier universities and the core qualities of the lawyer. So with that, we have come to the end of our session. First, let me just stop sharing my screen. And thank you. Thank you so much. With that, we have come to the end of this session where we talked about art, humanities, and other diversified careers, what you can think about when you take art and humanities for your main basic studies. And moving ahead, next week, we will be talking about the vocational training courses. Basically, what are the vocational training courses that one can think about when you're thinking about the training. So thank you. On that note, allow me to thank IIU for giving this wonderful opportunity and taking it forward. There's definitely, without their support, I think we'll not be having this platform. So from the bottom of our heart, let's all put our heart, mind, soul together to thank IIU. Actually, it's such a wonderful platform to share our knowledge and expertise with all of us. So next week, again, we will be talking about vocational courses and also about the golden triangle of mapping teacher, student, and the parent. How does this golden triangle work? Once to make it well, is what we are going to talk about. Thank you so much. Thanks for a great opportunity. Until we see you again, the last episode of careers. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, we will end the session, right?
Also,